Hey, what's up guys? And yeah, you're gonna be getting two episodes of What If Naruto Went Dark. And don't worry about What If Naruto was Madara grandson or What If Naruto was Meliodas son. They both will be coming out tomorrow, guys. Yeah, guys. So you'll be enjoying those What If tomorrow. But for now, you're gonna be getting part 40 of What If Naruto Went Dark. Get this one to 350 and you'll be getting the next part as soon as possible. Comment down below and tell me what you think of this episode. Remember to share to all of your friends on your social media platform and go and check out part 39 before you watch part 40, guys. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Start the intro. So you guys recently watched it, so we left off the part where we're on the bridge and Kabuto had already slashed off Sasori's suit and Yamato jumped out as he cursed at Anko. He cursed at Anko and then he asked her that everyone in the village thought that she was dead, but she went off and went missing. She was now with Naruto, but none of them know that. As Anko then said to Yamato that she's here to capture Kabuto. What? Why? Kabuto asks as he adjusts his glasses. I am not obtained to tell you that information, said Anko as she looked at Kabuto as he was confused, really want to know why everyone is so hell-bent on capturing him. Is it just for the information about Lord Orochimaru? Now, come with me and everything will go smoothly and no one will have to get hurt, said Anko as her face turned serious as she stared at Kabuto. No one will be taking Kabuto today, said Orochimaru as he looked at Anko. Guren then looked over at Yamato and said, you there, go over to Anko's side or your precious kids will be dead. I will crush them in my crystal dome. She then made one of the crystal crack as Yamato looked over, knowing that his subordinates are in real trouble if he don't go over to Anko's side. Yamato could swear that he heard Sakura whimpered out after the crystal was cracked. Alright, fine, he said as he walked over beside Anko. Good decision, said Anko. Now, let's get this party started, shouted Anko and Guren as they placed explosive tags on both sides of the bridge. See ya, said Anko as she jumped back as the bridge lost its support and fell down into the valley that was under it. What are you doing, you fool, said Yamato as Anko said calm down. They are too strong to die from a simple fall like that. Don't worry, we'll get them. As Orochimaru and Kabuto was plummeted down, Orochimaru turned Kabuto and said, let's jump on the side and use it for support. As the both of them ready to push off, they heard something coming from below them. Water cannonball jutsu! The two jumped to the two sides of the valley and stuck on the walls of the water cannon totally destroyed the bridge to pieces. The both of them looked down. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Orochimaru, said Guren. Aisaraibi is here too. Oh, she's fired up, said a playful Anko. Aisaraibi came from the water and looked up at Orochimaru with hateful eyes. You shall die today, said the girl who looked like a child. Aisaraibi came as well, said Orochimaru as he started to climb and run up the wall. She then went through some other hand signs and said, flying water needles, and the water formed into small pocket of needles were sent straight towards Orochimaru. There was about 1,000 of them. So she's mainly focused on me, Orochimaru thought. Which was true. Aisaraibi was only focused on Orochimaru, almost forgetting about Kabuto. I guess the both of us will anger Kabuto. said Anko as she jumped on the other side of the valley and jumped beside Gurren. We should stay out of Aisarabi's way. She's stronger than us, so she could handle Orochimaru, said Gurren. I can't believe she's stronger than us. She looks so young. You do know she's 18, right? Said Gurren, shocking Anko. I never knew that. She really looks so young. Anko quickly jabbed a kunai out of her pouch and blocked Kabuto. He managed to jump back as he went through some hand signs. Water explosion tag, he said, as he sent some small water balls towards them, and when it reached about 5 feet away from them, they realized that explosion tags were inside of them as they explode, creating a huge gust. As Kabuto then jumped back where the crystals was, where Sai, Sakura, and Sasuke was trapped. He then tells the three of them to coat themselves in chakra before he breaks it. They heard him. He waited a while and saw a blue view coming from their bodies in the crystal, before smashing it and breaking the Konoha ninjas out. Finally, Sakura shouted as she regained her footing on the ground. It was an uncomfortable position, said Sasuke, as Sai just kept that same smile on his face. You three, pay attention, said Kabuto, getting them to look at him. We may be enemies, but for now we are allies. Those two are too strong, I can tell. The only chance of us getting out of this alive, if we work together, we can maybe survive, said Kabuto, sounding really desperate. Yeah, go ahead and work together. We will kill all of you, shouted Anko. Remember, we can't just kill the Uchiha and the pink hair girl, said Gurren. And why is that? Asked Sakura. Hearing Gurren said. Don't worry about it, said Gurren as she charged forward with Anko not too far behind her. With Orochimaru and Aisarabi. Where are you, Orochimaru? Shouted Aisarabi as she looked around. Orochimaru then appeared behind her with snake coming out of his sleeve. She put chakra into her kunais and slashed off all the snake's head as she threw the kunai at Orochimaru, which he managed to dodge, but she was ready for him. She quickly ran through some hand signs and said, Rising water spike. She shouted and slammed her foot from the ground. Water came shooting towards Orochimaru. He jumped over the attack and went to punch Aisarabi. She blocked the punch and coated her hands with water. She went in for a palm strike straight to his face. But Orochimaru moved his face to the side, dodging her attack. He wasn't ready for the water around Aisarabi's arm to shoot forward in an incredible speed and managed to cut his cheek wide open. Orochimaru jumped back as he placed his hands on his face, his right cheek anyway, not wanting to face her in taijutsu as her water style was deadly. You really have gotten stronger, Aisarabi. Do you mind telling me how? Orochimaru asked. I do mind. So, just shut the hell up and die, she shouted. Orochimaru then smirked as he jumped back a distance. He then placed his head on the ground and then a bunch of snakes came out of his mouth as they were rushing towards her. She then started to focus on the snakes as she went through some hand signs. She then shouted, Water flying needles, as she sent needles to all of the snake's head, piercing them. The moment the needle pierced the snake's head, they dropped to the ground. The moment they dropped, they poof away as her precise were spot on as she managed to pierce all of them. When they were all gone, she noticed that Orochimaru was gone as well. Where was he? She looked around, knowing that he's still here. He cannot have gotten so far. She then felt something. She didn't know what it was. She then looked down and saw a long sword coming out of the ground, trying to pierce her. She quickly moved to the side, dodging the attack, and went through some hand signs. Hard water spikes, she shouted, and a drill of water surrounded her right hand, and she charged forward where the sword was coming from. The rest of Orochimaru's body came from the ground, but he wasn't ready when a drill of water pierced right through his midsection. He screamed out in pain and jumped back. He looked down at the wound to see that it was really deep. Blood was pouring from the wound, and he had to do something about it. Orochimaru's mouth opened wide as he broke off the sword and discarded it. He then started to erupt two arms from his mouth as Orochimaru himself came out of his own mouth. "Disgusting as usual," said Aisuraibi. "You really surprised me, Aisuraibi," said Orochimaru as he stepped out of his old skin. "I really wish to play with you some more, but I must go," he said as he dashed off into the trees, trying to escape. "Oh no you don't," she said as she started to chase after him. On the other side of the valley, Anko smirked as she dodged another attack from Kabuto. He was trying to cut her with his scalpels, but he wasn't getting any success as she was dodging his attack easily. When Orochimaru was fighting Aisuraibi, Anko has also used her snake to wrap around Yamato and place him on the ground, restricting any of his movements, so he would have just to stay one place because Anko wanted to be the one to capture Kabuto and she didn't want Yamato to get in her way because she knew that Aisuraibi could handle Orochimaru. Anko then kicked Kabuto under the chin as he was flying up in the air. He then felt something beat him hard on the shoulder. He looked around to see Anko with a snake coming out of her sleeve. He tried to cut off the snake head with his scalpel, but then another snake wrapped around his hand as another snake wrapped around his midsection and came close to his neck as the snake bound him and he couldn't move. All of his movements were restricted. Kabuto then dropped to the ground, cannot move. Sakura then ran up to her as Anko then turned to focus on Sakura. "Take this!" Sakura shouted as she ran up to Anko with a fist coated in chakra. Anko waited for Sakura to come up to her. Then, the minute she was about 2 feet away from her, Anko dodged the attack and used her palm to push Sakura's fist a little over, changing Sakura's direction as Sakura was sent down into the ground as she crashed really hard. "Damn it, how are they fighting like this?" said Sakura as she struggled to get back up. Sasuke wasn't handling his opponent any better. It was like she had a counter attack to every attack he sent to her. When he tried to place a genjutsu on her, she would place a crystal mirror in front of his eyes, making him see his own Sharingan and hurt his own eyes. These people were really able to adapt to any situation. Guren was she couldn't handle Uchiha because she had to fight really hard. She thought that he was just weak and claimed to be powerful because his name is Uchiha. But she realized that he was really strong and she had to be on her tip-top form for every attack he sent at her for she to try and counter, because if she messed up a little bit, she knew that she would be done for. "Were you trained by Naruto?" asked Sasuke as his lightning sword and Guren crystal sword clashed together. "How do you know Naruto?" she shouted angrily. Both jumped back and the both of them glared at each other. "Me and Sakura were his first student," he said. "Really? Is that why he said we couldn't kill you?" said Guren, shocking Sasuke and Sakura as Sakura heard the conversation. Wait, he said that?" said Sakura as she looked at Guren. "Yeah, he said to keep the both of you out of harm's way. If it come to it, we must kill every other Leaf Ninjas, but keep you two alive." Sakura then rushed over Sasuke as she stand right beside him. "Why are you two so precious to him?" Anko asked. "Because even if he don't talk about us, we were Naruto's first friends," said Sakura. "So that is why he told us not to kill you too. He actually has feelings for people in Konoha." "That doesn't sound like Naruto at all," said Guren as she placed her hands on her chin. "Well, If we cannot kill them, there is no point in fighting, said Anko, as the snakes went under her sleeves. You two can leave now and let us handle Orochimaru and Kabuto. If you continue to fight us, then we will kill your other two teammates, said Anko. Even if we cannot kill you both, we can make you suffer. So, leave, Anko shouted. Sakura growled to the agreement, knowing that these two girls are strong. Sasuke just stood there, not knowing what to say. But then Sakura looked and said, "Hey, where is Sai?" Deep in the forest. Sai stood in front of Orochimaru as he reached in his backpack, getting out a letter. He handed it to Orochimaru as Orochimaru started to read it. Done so, you old prick, said Orochimaru with a smile on his face as he continued to read the letter. He then looked at Sai with a smile and said, "You child, are you coming with me?" he asked. "You two aren't going anywhere," shouted Aisaraibi as she landed down from the trees and stopped right in front of them. She then rushed at Sai as she cut him with a kunai on his shoulder, cutting his backpack strap. As his backpack fell to the ground with his book and the scroll dropped out of it because it was still open after he was giving Orochimaru the paper. Then Anko and Gurren appeared and said, "Aisaraibi, don't kill that one. He is with the Konoha ninjas and there's a reason. Why shouldn't I kill the both of them? What are you talking about?" "Just listen," said Anko. "Don't kill them. The mission is over. We already have him," she said as she gestured to the unconscious Kabuto on her shoulder. "Okay, fine," said Aisaraibi. "What do you plan to do with my loyal subject?" said Orochimaru as he glared at the woman. "Oh, nothing too bad," said Anko with a smirk on her face, lying through her teeth. "You don't have the strength to fight us all, Orochimaru. Even with that pale boy right there, you will still lose and die miserably. So go on your way. I am sure we will see each other soon in the future," said Gurren as she glared at Orochimaru. Orochimaru thought to himself as he knew he couldn't beat them. They all have gotten so strong. He knew what he had to do. He had to leave. "Fine. Sai, let us go," he said, and the two of them jumped into the trees and head off. When the two men were long gone, Aisaraibi looked at Gurren with a smile on her face. "You were lying the whole time, weren't you?" she said. Gurren smirked on her face. Smile, smile, smile. As her smirk turned into the largest smile she could ever make. "Of course I was. The man is weak right now. He's not going to expect us to attack him so soon. So we will do it today to avoid a future hell and get rid of a huge pain in our side," said Gurren. "Then let's get to it," shouted Anko, and then they all shouted off into the trees as they followed Orochimaru and Sai. Hours later, Sakura had finished healing Yamato over Sai and see what he was going to do because he didn't trust Sai in the first place. Thinking about all the things he learned from that just little battle a while ago, Naruto told them not to kill me and Sakura, which means that he is still holding on to some feelings of us and he's not completely covered and confused by that demon fox. We could probably try again and convince him not to destroy Konoha, Sasuke thought to himself. But going over what the village and Minato has done to him, I don't think that will work. Sasuke's thoughts then went on to Gurren. That woman had me in a corner. Her genjutsu was powerful than mine and I could tell that she wasn't taking me serious. Naruto training is responsible for that. We also had information that he has been training other people to their highest potential. If Naruto has people strong like her or even stronger, then Konoha will stand no chance when he is ready to attack with his own village. "Sasuke," said Yamato, getting Sasuke's attention. "It is time to move out," he said, as Sasuke nodded as they head off into the trees. Outside of Orochimaru's hideout, Anko, Aisaraibi, and Gurren were looking down at the hole that was covered by the bushes that led down into Orochimaru's lair. Is there anybody else down there than Orochimaru and the weird looking kid? Asked Guren. No, my snakes had told me that there's no one else down there, said Anko, as she has used her snake to secure the area. Good. Isarabi, will you finish things here? Isarabi then nodded to Guren. Isarabi then went through a long procedure of hand signs before slamming her hand on the ground. Flash flood, she shouted. Water started to come from her hands until a style of waterfall went down into the entrance. A flood of water went down the entrance, swallowing anyone and anything in its way. India was really starting to get flooded out. Orochimaru was sitting in his bed, resting from the battle that he had today. He wasn't ready for water to blast his door open and came gushing into his room. What is going on? He shouted as the water started to flood everywhere. The water was now up to the side of his bed. Orochimaru was too weak to get away from the water, so he had to revert to his true form. Orochimaru opened his mouth and a large white snake came out of his mouth. The large white snake swam through the water in amazing speeds. Sai was in a room and then he noticed water coming from underneath his door. He quickly put explosive tags on the ceiling and detonated them all, making the ceiling fall down, exposing the outside light. Isarabi sent something swimming in her water at incredible speed. She then said Camaro form and transformed into a fish-like creature, half fish, half humans with gills. She then come to face a giant white snake. I found you, she said, as she stared at Orochimaru. Prepare to die, you snake, she said as she launched at him. But guys, this is where I end this episode. Thank you for watching, and remember to get this one past the 300 and about 50 likes or something like that. I don't remember what I told you in the first part, but 340. Yeah guys, get the one to 340 and you'll be getting the next one as soon as possible. Comment down below and tell me what you think of this episode. Share to all your friends on your social media platform, and thank you all for watching the episode again, and thank you for enjoying it if you did, and please leave a like and yeah, subscribe. Thank you. But I'm off for now guys. Peace.